104.5 The Team, your home for New York sports, and of course your home for Mike and Mike in the morning. Big contest coming up, but first you can't and probably should speak proper English when I have Greeny on the phone, but you can't avoid the Jets when you've got their biggest fan on the phone. We've been arguing all week, Greeny. Is it time to move to Bryce Petty?
Oh, to me, the answer is unquestionably yes. There are two reasons why you make a quarterback change, and in this case, both of them point to making that change. One of them is because the quarterback who has been playing has been ineffective. And there's no question Ryan Fitzpatrick has been ineffective. He is the second lowest rated quarterback in the NFL this year. His propensity for turning the ball over has absolutely killed the Jets. He has played terribly this year. There are a lot of reasons why their season has gone the way it's gone. The play of the quarterback has been right at the top of the list. So to me, that alone would be reason enough. The second is the Jets are hopelessly out of it. If you look at the AFC standings, they have no chance of winning their division, and they have no chance of making a wild card. So the time is now to start figuring out what they have in youth, and clearly there are not one but two options that I'd like to see. I'd like to see a little bit of Bryce Petty, and I'd like to see a little bit of Christian Hackenberg. One of those two guys, hopefully, is going to be the future of the quarterback position for the Jets. So there's no reason in my mind why that future should not begin right now.
Greeny, the next two opponents are the Rams with a solid defensive line and then the Patriots after a bye week. Does the opponent matter? Do you want to see maybe Bryce Petty avoid that situation, get it later, or are we at a point now where you just got to get him out there?
No, I don't know why you'd be avoiding any of that. I want to see a football player go out and play. And Bryce Petty is not Jared Goff. He didn't just get drafted. He's been there for a year and a half. It is time to see if he can go. If he can't go, I think that would be quite disappointing. Look, the ideal scenario would have been if Geno Smith had started when he did and had played for several weeks, and we saw how that went, and then we could potentially hand the baton off to Petty. But I don't think that going up against Belichick or going up against Aaron Donald or anything else should make any difference. Let the kid play quarterback in the National Football League. I don't think it matters who they're playing against.
Michael Greenberg, Mike and Mike every morning right here on 104.5 The Team. So, Greeny, the big story also is Muhammad Wilkerson skipping meetings and even skipping meetings where his own birthday was being celebrated. Is that an indictment on him, or is Todd Bowles starting to lose this team?
Oh, I think that's purely an indictment on him. Mo Wilkerson is a guy who lobbied long and loudly for a new contract, a big contract, and I supported it, and he is now making the Jets look stupid, and all of us who celebrated when he finally got that deal look stupid by doing it. I'm hearing terrible things from inside about work ethic and all of that. It is starting to feel like the classic case of a guy getting his money and then just starting to punch a clock rather than rewarding the organization that rewarded him. I'm very disappointed, and to me it is a colossal indictment of him. I believe Todd Bowles, I think there is some question about the methodology of benching players because it sort of punishes the entire team for the actions of a few. But in this case, I support him doing what he did. He's got to send a message that we are not good. They are not going to tolerate this on the football team, and I'm glad that message was sent. And in the case of Sheldon Richardson, I don't know how much difference it'll make. And frankly, Wilkerson has his money too, so it may not make any difference with him either. But I find it extremely disappointing, and I point the finger of blame exclusively at the players, not at the coach.
You don't have any fear of Bowles starting to lose his team, though?
Well, I suppose there's always some fear of that, but no, I don't think that to me is an indication that Bowles is losing the team. When teams are playing bad, look, I think there are just some questions about Sheldon Richardson overall. I know some people pointed to what looked like a little bit of a shouting match between Fitzpatrick and Brandon Marshall on the sideline. I don't think that has anything to do with the coach. I'm not overly concerned about it, no. I think Todd Bowles is a person who commands respect from football players. I think they respect that he was a player, the kind of player he was, and the kind of person he is. So overall, there are some game management questions I have about Todd Bowles a year and a half into his tenure with the Jets, but I'm not worried about his ability to keep control of the locker room. I think he will succeed in that eventually.
We got Greeny right now, Golick and Greeny, Mike and Mike, every weekday morning right here on 104.5 The Team.
Last night's game, Bills-Seahawks. Bills are in contention, but unfortunately the referees became the storyline, the officials. What, for you, Greeny, does the NFL have to do to fix this problem going forward?
Well, I don't know. Look, I mean, there are always going to be mistakes made, and then you ask yourself the question, is there some way that you can use technology to solve some of the problems? Certainly, to me, the most egregious mistake that was made by the officials at the end of the first half last night was not the Richard Sherman play, but was the delay of game penalty, which winds up being just as important, if not more important, of a missed call, because it really directly deprives the Bills of 3 points. And to me, that's an inexcusable mistake, and one that could easily have been corrected by almost anyone. So I don't understand why it wasn't. I saw a note right before I called you guys that there is some consideration on the part of the league of disciplining the officiating crew, which was led by Walt Anderson. Listen, I understand that you're always going to have mistakes made by officials, and that's never going to be perfect. But I think it is clear the game has become increasingly difficult to officiate, and they're going to have to experiment with new and different ideas, because there are just too many times this year where it feels like the officiating is a huge part of the story. And then a lot of the decisions that have nothing to do with the officials, but that are being made by the league, by the competition committee, and others, I find very frustrating. The way defensive pass interference and things like that are being officiated the last few years, I think, is a detriment to the sport. The way they're penalizing taunting this year for events that aren't in any way really taunting to me, I think that's been a detriment to the sport. So there's a lot of stuff going on right now. I think the league has a lot of work to do during this offseason to make the product they're putting out there for us on a week-in, week-out basis a lot better than it has been this season.
Greeny, I think I'm more nervous with you now that you've forgiven me for the handshake mistake than I was when you were still not letting me anywhere near you. I don't know what it is. I think now that you've been the bigger person, I'm so afraid to upset you again.
Well, listen, I'm a big believer in the bow. Let's just work on the bow. The next time we see each other, let's just bow. There's no exchange of germs of any kind. It is polite, formal, and respectful. To me, it works. It's been working for thousands of years, and I don't see any reason why we can't continue it.
He's a wise man, and that's why his show gets to give away some of the best and biggest prizes. Mike and Mike at the college football playoffs.
Simplest thing in the entire world. All you need to do is what I hope you would do anyway, and that is wake up tomorrow morning and put our show on. And wake up every morning this week and put the show on. And twice a morning, every morning, we're going to give you the winning word. Tomorrow it's going to be at 6:45 and again at 8:20. So just make sure you're listening one of those two times. We'll give you the word of the day. We'll give you the two ways to enter. You enter both of those ways to double your chances. And every single day we will pick a winner. And you and a guest will be coming with us to the College Football National Championship game in Tampa. Fabulous trip, top-of-the-line accommodations, all expenses paid. Dinner the night before with us. Sit with us at the game. A once-in-a-lifetime experience for a football fan. And all you have to do is what I hope you would do anyway, and that is wake up in the morning and put the radio on and listen to Mike and Mike.
He is Greeny, Mike and Mike co-host right here on 104.5 The Team every weekday morning. And I heard you guys say you're going to kind of lay off the wagers a little bit because Golick keeps getting beat so much. Is that true, or can we hope for some more wagers in the future?
Well, I hope for some more wagers because all of a sudden I'm on a hot streak. Golick is losing everything. He had to eat that ridiculous hot sauce burgers, which he really paid a price for. He's going to have to take a pie in the face from Magic Johnson at some point relatively soon. He's been losing a lot of bets, and so he's a little hesitant to jump on another one, and I understand that. But, I'd like to keep it rolling while I'm hot.
Greeny, I bow to you, sir. Thank you for making time for us.
And I bow in return. Thank you, guys.